Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. Hope all of you are doing well. This is a video session on daily news and editorial analysis dated 23rd of December. Through this video session, I'll be discussing the important news and editorial both from the Hindu and Indian Express. The analysis and the discussion of the news will especially cater the aspirant of civil services examination, state public service commission examination, and one-day examination conducted by various uni agencies and state government. So we'll see the important news relevant from the examination perspective. First, I'll be giving you the highlights of the news and then we'll proceed detailed with each and every news one by one. Let's get started with the news highlights of the day. The first important news talks about the resolution that is known as watered down resolution. UN has actually approved this resolutions for aid to Gaza. We'll see something important relevant to this. The second important news talks about government aims to come up with the crèche facilities, like they're actually looking forward with 17,000 crèche facilities across the country. The third important news talks about the one-stop healthcare regulator. The center is planning to revamp the part of health regulator mechanism in the country. The second last news talks about the LCH. The Indian Air Force Chief has actually come up with the details that we need to come up in clusters with the global south and even to make more a robust part of our defense forces, specifically the Indian Air Force. And I'll be concluding this session with editorial that talks about the telecom law upgrade for a digital authoritarian states. So we'll see how the telecom law, which has been actually passed by the Rajya Sabha, what are the changes, what are the important things that is there, and how it is specifically empower the state government, giving it an overwhelming power. So we'll see the detail to this. Now we'll start this discussion of the news one by one. Let's get started. So the first important news is about the watered down resolution. इस resolution को UN की जो Security Council है, better known as UNSC, इन्होंने पास किया है. And we are aware of the fact that Gaza, specifically Gaza की अगर बात करें, the things are not under control. और situation वहाँ पे काफ़ी ज़्यादा worst है. People are actually dying because of hunger. The foods items are not there and people are dying because of hunger because of the recent war ongoing between Israel and Gaza and Palestine region. So UNSC has actually adopted a watered down resolution. This is again important. आपसे one day examination में भी इसके बारे में पूछी जा सकती है. This watered down resolution is related to what? It called for an immediate speeding aid deliveries to hungry and desperate civilian in Gaza without originally changing the plea. I mean, the plea actually called for urgent suspension of the hostilities between Israel and Hamas, but they have not taken and not addressed that particular point. Instead, this particular resolutions called to end the part of hunger and providing the food security and availability in the region. Now, what is this resolution all about? और इस resolution में क्या specific बातों पे ध्यान दी गई है? पहले resolution की passage की बात करें. So 15-member council UNSC, the 5 permanent member and the 10 non-permanent member, जिसमें 13-0 से ये पास की गई. रशिया और यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ने इसमें एब्सटेन किया है. यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स एंड रशिया हैज एक्चुअली मेड द एब्सटेनेंस टू द वोटिंग. द रेजोल्यूशन हैज कम्युलेटेड अ वीक जहाँ पे हाई लेवल ऑफ डिप्लोमेसी की बात की गई थी फ्रॉम द कंट्री लाइक यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, यूनाइटेड अरब एमिरेट्स on behalf of Arab nations and others. See, if you look at the present context, definitely the war which is going has been a lot of humanitarian crisis in the region, and to the fact that it has been reported in international media that only the people, the people who have no association with this is the sole sufferer. Now, the Secretary General of UNSC has actually reiterated that it's a long-standing call for the humanitarian ceasefire. So definitely we need to ensure that all the global stakeholders, this is not something now has become a regional issue, but it's a global issue. और जितने भी stakeholders हैं इस context में, specifically UNSC के members की बात करें, उनके लिए भी ज़रूरत है कि वो humanitarian crisis को देखते हुए अपनी stands को clear करें. The Security Council resolutions are legally binding, although it's legally binding, but the recent trend has seen that the countries are actually ignoring the request of actions coming directly from the United States or the United Security Council. Now we have to see whether this resolution passed will sustain for a few months, a few days, but we need to ensure that humanitarian crisis which has emerged in the region should completely be reduced down, और food insecurity जो है खास करके availability of foods वो ensure करने की ज़रूरत काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. Now, if you look at the structure of UNSC, something basics that I wanted to discuss with you, I think most of you must be aware of these details. So UNSC has 5 permanent members, which is China, France, UK, Russia, and US, with 10 non-permanent member, right? So these are the details about the UNSC. This use a UN as decided by UNSC. Reform proposal की बात करें, increasing number of non-permanent seat की बात इंडिया ने भी की है, restricting the veto rights which is there, right? So the details you can look up on this images, even you can take this screenshot for the revision purposes. Now, what is the ground reality? Actually, at the forum or at the platform like UNSC or many other forums, we do not know what is the ground reality. The ground reality is pretty different, and this was actually reported by UN humanitarian agencies. और उन्होंने बताया है कि गाजा की जो entire population है, if you look at 2.2 million people are actually with the food crisis, right? Worsening, like close to 5,76,600 are at the catastrophe of starvation level. So this is something, no, I mean, we should be ashamed of this fact that such crisis is actually impacting the part of women, children. ये कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं, ऐसे ग्रुप है जिनको सबसे ज़्यादा इसका नुकसान उठाना पड़ रहा है. While with the supplies of the Gaza's cut off, the small trick is that UN Food Program has said that 90% of the population is regularly going without food or meal without a full day. I mean ऐसे population है जो total population है वहाँ की, उसमें से 90% population बिना मील के पूरे दिन अपनी गुजार रही है, which is something very very astonishing. I mean I personally feel disturbed when this type of news is there when it comes to the part of humanitarian crisis. Now, according to the Gaza Health Ministry, more than 20,000 Palestinians have been killed since the war has started. And these people are the one who has actually no relations in this war. They are neither the part of Israel nor the part of Palestine, Hamas, or this particular region. They are the normal human being, the citizen of this region who are actually even struggling for their livelihood. And they have ultimately made their sacrifice because of this war. Ultimately, किसी भी तरह की वॉर हो, एक चीज जो सबसे ज्यादा, I mean the truth, the bitter truth is that only the people who has no role to play make their sacrifices. This is something very disheartening, and for the region, we definitely need to take concern for this. Now, IPC की रिपोर्ट है. इस IPC के रिपोर्ट में basically this is the integrated food security phase classification. And proportionate of household is said that the Gaza is affected by high level of acute food insecurity and large ever recorded globally. So this is the part जहाँ पे अगर food insecurity की बात करें, this is the part which has the highest level of food insecurity that has been reported. The extension of hunger in the Gaza has elapsed to nearly famines in Afghanistan, Yemen in the recent year. जो अभी अफगानिस्तान और येमन में जिस तरह की क्राइसिस देखी गई, उससे कई बढ़कर ये अभी की जो करंट क्राइसिस है गाजा में वो काफ़ी ज़्यादा है. The entire 2.3 million populations of the Gaza is facing the crisis with hunger and the risk of famine, right? So all the stakeholders are definitely, I mean, they should come forward after the initiation which was there by the UNSC. UNSC की resolutions के बाद सारे countries collaborate और अपनी तरह से मदद करेंगे. Now moving ahead, center target for the crèche across the India. So crèche facilities की अगर बात करें, crèche जो होती है वहाँ पे बच्चों को रखा जाता है, the people who are actually working and the children are actually kept to ensure that they are also being developed mentally and physically with the surroundings. So Women and Child Development Ministry ने बताया है that 17,000 crèche facilities को बढ़ाई जाएगी for the आंगनवाड़ी across the country. नाउ एसओपीज क्या रखी गई हैं? गवर्नमेंट ने कहा है कि जो नई एसओपीज होंगी उसके अंदर जो पालना स्कीम्स हैं, आई मीन दैट इज अ पालना स्कीम, उसके अतिरिक्त ये सारी चीजें की जाएगी. दिस विल बी अंडर द एम्बिट ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर स्कीम. द मिनिस्ट्री प्लान्स टू डिप्यूट 2 एडिशनल क्रेच वर्कर फॉर द आंगनवाड़ी अंडर द पालना स्कीम. सो 2 एडिशनल वर्कर will be the part of it, right? The union government has also approved 5,223 crèche facilities and 1.87 lakh Anganwadis and mini Anganwadi workers as well. Now about the पालना scheme, see this is something which can be again for the prelims examination. आपसे सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं. So in July 2020, the Ministry of Women and Child Development has actually renamed the National Crit Scheme to पालना scheme, जिसमें सामर्थ्य सब स्कीम और मिशन शक्ति के अंदर इसे रखा गया है. Further, the crèche will be running under the erstwhile National Kids Scheme that has been included in the stand-alone kids facility and named as Palna Scheme. So this scheme aims to address the quality daycare facilities, खास करके children's के लिए, where the women are actually working and not able to take care of him or giving him a quality time. So this can be, providing the nutritional food, the better environment, the ambience, so that the children do not feel loneliness और उनकी cognitive development पे खासा ध्यान दी जाए. According to the government data, the participations of women in the workforce has increased to 37% in 2022. So this is an again important data which you can even utilize in the mains examination. Now, moving ahead with other news, that is Center is exploring the one-step healthcare sector regulator at this juncture where India is growing. We are targeting for $5 trillion economy. यहाँ पे ज़रूरी है कि हम अपने हेल्थ फैसिलिटीज को भी इम्प्रूव करें और उस फैसिलिटी को इम्प्रूव करने के साथ साथ जो रेगुलेटरी मेजर्स हैं उन पे भी ध्यान रखें. तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने इसी चीज़ को ध्यान रखते हुए the government has actually mooted an idea that healthcare sector regulator need to be there both for the public healthcare sector as well as for the private, right? तो दोनों के लिए होंगी ताकि जो हेल्थ केयर है, जो हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस है, जो हेल्थ सेक्टर्स है, उसकी अफोर्डेबिलिटी को बढ़ाया जाए फॉर द सिटीजन ऑफ दिस कंट्री. नाउ इनिशियल डिस्कशंस की अगर बात करें, द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ फाइनेंस एंड हेल्थ हैज एक्चुअली इनिशिएटेड द डिस्कशन जहाँ पे एक नेशनल वॉच डॉग बनाने की बात की गई है. दिस नेशनल वॉच डॉग will be specifically for the healthcare, right? So this is again important. Now the doctor bodies have also requested the private and government insurance that should be brought in under the regulatory mechanism. Meanwhile, government ने कुछ और important schemes like प्रधानमंत्री जन आरोग्य योजना और सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की और जो important scheme है like ESISC, right? इस तरह की जो schemes हैं उनको भी collaborate करेगी in further integrations of the all regulatory mechanism that is there in the government of India. Health insurance or risk की अगर बात करें, if you look at the data, I mean from the National Insurance Agency NIA की मुताबिक 400 million people or individual do not have access to health insurance and have inadequate health coverage. Now my personal recommendations, if you do not have health insurance and if you are able to afford such amount, make sure you are having a health insurance. Reading all its terms and condition, you can have the value or the corpus covered according to the part of requirement, but make sure you are covered enough in any of the health insurance, right? They are facing a risk with the time when healthcare costs are going up. अगर बात करें मेडिकल इन्फ्लेशन के, इंडिया में जो मेडिकल इन्फ्लेशन है वो 14% के आसपास है, राइट? सो दिस इज अ मेडिकल इन्फ्लेशन दैट करेंटली वी आर विटनेसिंग विद. एंड प्रेजेंटली IRDAI जो है, जो इंश्योरेंस रेगुलेटरी डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया है, वो रेगुलेट करती है सारे इंश्योरेंस को, प्रोवाइडिंग हेल्थ कवरेज एंड अमॉन्ग ऑल अदर प्रोडक्ट्स. नाउ दिस इज विद रिगार्ड्स टू इंश्योरेंस एज वेल, हेल्थ एज वेल. नाउ गवर्नमेंट का कहना है कि जो हेल्थ है उसके रिलेटेड हमें एक स्पेशल डेडिकेटेड नोडल बॉडी और रेगुलेटर्स की जरूरत है. Now, health sector, if you look at the healthcare sector, this is something which has gaining a boom in India. 3 times तक की growth देखी गई है healthcare sectors में. India's healthcare delivery system has been categorized in 2 major components. One is the public healthcare system and other is the private healthcare system. For metropolitan cities like Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata, Chennai, Pune, Hyderabad, these cities have been a tremendous increase in the private hospital. Now, India's healthcare sector is expected to record 3 rise fold, जहाँ पे CGR की अगर बात करें, compounded annual growth rate is around 22%, right? और ये बढ़ करके अभी 372 बिलियन तक हो गई है 2022 में. E-health market is also estimated to be around $10.6 billion by 2025. So these are some of the data-driven facts that you can even utilize in the mains paper answer writing. Now, moving ahead with other news, India made LCA LCH can boost include in the global south. इंडियन एयरफोर्स के चीफ ने बताया है कि जिस तरह से इंडिया की इंडिजिनस स्पेस परफॉर्मेंस है या जो प्लेटफॉर्म है स्पेसिफिकली रिगार्डिंग टू द LCA, दैट इज light compact aircraft and light compact helicopter. So they have a competitive and reliable operations with Air Force competing with the global south. Now this is that important where India has actually taken a toll and augmented the overall capabilities of the Indian Air Force. Now इस और न्यूज़ के बारे में और डिटेल में बात करें, इंडियन एयरफोर्स ने कि जो चीफ उन्होंने हाईलाइट किया दैट द प्लेटफॉर्म नीड टू बी यूज एज एन एक्सपोर्ट ग्लोबल साउथ की अगर बात करें, यू टॉकिंग अबाउट द ग्लोबल साउथ, वी कैन ऑल्सो हैव द पार्ट ऑफ थिंग्स वेयर वी कैन एक्सपोर्ट एंड इवोट इम्पोर्ट, बट ज़्यादा जोर हमें एक्सपोर्ट करने के ऊपर है. Now, the Indian Air Force chief has also asserted that joint ventures can be there with a global south country, that all the country are mutually benefited. We can have a technology transfer. So technology transfer हो सकती है where we can actually collaborate with the global south countries as well. Now, he also added that we need to have a joint components with the part जहाँ पे प्रोडक्शन फैसिलिटीज क्रिएशन फॉर द रीजनल मेंटेनेंस एंड सपोर्टिंग हब बनाई जा सकती है ग्लोबल साउथ की कोलैबोरेशन से इन कोलैबोरेटिंग विद इंडिया. Now, improving capabilities, how we can improve the capabilities to do so. There's something focus area that we need to focus on. This include the part of capabilities and development in the global south chain. उसके अलावा जो manufacturing hub है, whether it is repair, overhaul facilities, that need to be there. Maintenance, repair and overhaul. We call it MRO, right? MRO से इसमें और हद तक improvement की जा सकती है. Joint research and development projects. Defense innovations and technology exchange. So these are the core area where actually the focus can be there, and this can improve the overall capabilities of our defense forces, specifically Indian Air Force, right? Now LCA की अगर बात करें briefly about the LCA, because the aspirant who will be appearing for CISF या फिर CAPF के examinations में जो appear करेंगे उनके लिए काफ़ी ज़्यादा important है ये. Basically LCA पहले जो रिप्लेसमेंट है MiG-21 फाइटर्स की, एंड इट इज़ अ क्रूशियल कंपोनेंट जहाँ पे मॉडर्नाइजेशंस की गई थी. 2003 में LCA हैज़ रिसीव्ड द डेजिग्नेशन एज तेजस, और उसके बाद काफ़ी माइलस्टोन अचीवमेंट हुई है. तेजस हैज़ बिकम इंडियाज फर्स्ट इंडिजिनस डेवलप्ड फाइटर जेट, और इन February 2019 तेजस हैज़ रिसीव्ड द फाइनल ऑपरेशन क्लियरेंस फॉर फुल इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ इंडियन एयरफोर्स एज अ वेपनाइजिंग फाइटर जेट. So this has been the journey for the light compact aircraft and even for the helicopters that we are operating in the Indian Air Force. Now moving ahead with the editorial for the day that talks about the telecom laws. I have already made a discussion about the telecom laws, क्या क्या changes provide किए गए हैं. इस आर्टिकल में किस तरह से extra authority provide की जाती है सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को, and specifically empower the central government to a larger extent. Now what I'll be discussing, first we'll see the background, then we'll see the provisions of the bill, ignoring the digital divide and the modern authoritarianism that is there with this. So this specifically talks about the state authority, the central government, that they have come up with the pivotal rule. Now just to give you the background, अगर टेलीकॉम रेगुलेटरी बिल की बात करें या टेलीकम्युनिकेशंस बिल की बात करें, दिस हैज़ बीन अप्रूव्ड रिसेंटली इन द राज्यसभा, राइट? लोकसभा से पास होने के बाद से राज्यसभा से भी अप्रूवल मिल गई. And the bill aims to transfer and reform the telecommunications network in the country, right? Specifically जो डेवलपमेंट है, एक्सपेंशंस है, ऑपरेशंस है टेलीकम्युनिकेशन सर्विसेज की, उसको लेकर के है, रेगुलेटरी मैकेनिज्म्स को लेकर के है, एंड ओवरऑल पार्ट ऑफ द रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस. द बिल सिक्स टू रिप्लेस द इंडियन टेलीग्राफ एक्ट ऑफ 1885. तो ITA जो है इंडियन टेलीग्राफ एक्ट, उसको रिप्लेस करती है ये पर्टिकुलर टेलीकम्युनिकेशंस बिल. नाउ प्रोविजंस ऑफ बिल में फर्स्ट एंड फॉरमोस्ट इंडियनाइजेशंस की भी बात की गई है. द बिल एक्चुअली aims to address the modern challenges and regulatory rapidly improving with the part of telecommunication industries. इस ड्राफ्ट रेगुलेशंस में ओवर द टॉप जो OTT हैं उनको खास करके रेगुलेटरी मैकेनिज्म के अंदर रखा गया है. इंटरनेट बेस्ड कॉलिंग, मैसेजिंग ऐप एंड अंदर द डेफिनेशंस ऑफ टेलीकम्युनिकेशन विद द यूजर सेफ्टी नेट. Now additionally बिल ने कुछ और पावर की है द पार्ट ऑफ द टेरी, द टेलीकॉम रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया. So it has aims to limit the authority of India to move raised concern about the industry's player. Now, what are the other details that is there with regards to this particular bill? You can even check with these images which is here. So a prior consent will be taken for certain specific message. DND registers to be prepared. Online mechanism users to report the malware complaint. Or first offense होगी civil penalty up to 50,000 rupees, and each subsequent with a civil penalty up to 2 lakh rupees for the suspension of services or both. So these are some of the broad part of the provision that I'm discussing. Now moving ahead with other details, ignoring the digital divide. इस पर्टिकुलर बिल में जो डिजिटल डिवाइड की जो एक इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट थी, जो कि अपोजिशंस ने भी कंसर्न रेज की थी, उसको बहुत ज़्यादा एड्रेस नहीं किया गया है. द बिल एक्चुअली रिफ्लेक्ट द इंडियाज इन्फ्लुएंस इन द यूनिवर्सल सर्विस ऑब्लिगेशन फंड, जिसे USOF भी कहते हैं, दैट हैज़ बीन रीनेम्ड एज डिजिटल भारत निधि, विच इज DBN, राइट. DBN इसे नेम कहा गया, बट ये जो फंड होगी दैट वाज एस्टैब्लिश्ड अंडर द इंडियन टेलीग्राफ एक्ट ऑफ 1885 टू प्रोवाइड टेलीकॉम सर्विसेज विद अनरिजर्व्ड एरिया, राइट. और इस बिल के थ्रू इसे रीनेम कर दिया गया है डिजिटल भारत निधि, विच विल अलाउ एंड यूजेस फॉर रिसर्च डेवलपमेंट इन द टेलीकॉम्स. इस तरह से सिर्फ नाम चेंज करने से इसकी जो कोर एसेंस है वो नहीं बदलेगी. वी नीड टू इंश्योर जो डिजिटल डिवाइड ईदर फ्रॉम द प्लेयर्स, फ्रॉम द यूजर्स और फ्रॉम द स्टेक होल्डर्स फ्रेटर्निटी, दैट इक्वली नीड टू बी एड्रेस्ड अपॉन. Now, modern authoritarianism की बात की गई है, how the state, I mean the center has been given enormous power. So the bill proposes the government to waive the entry fee license fee penalties in the interest of consumer, right? चाहे वो मार्केट कॉम्पिटिशन्स को लेकर के हो, टेलीकम्युनिकेशंस नेटवर्क कैपेबिलिटी को हो, या नेशनल सिक्योरिटी के कंसर्न्स में हो, इन सारी चीज़ों पे जो पावर होगी दैट रेस्ट विद द सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, राइट. The bill provide powers to the central government in a matter regarding such will be such known as the predatory pricing, sending of a commercial communications, या फिर encrypted data processing हो. जिस भी चीज़ों के अंदर अगर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट को ऐसा लगता है that is that breach of the rules and regulation, they can even stop it and even give a penalty and impose a penalty on that. This will ensure that the surveillance state is complete. The law require the telecommunication service provider, अगर व्हाट्सएप सिग्नल इस तरह के भी प्लेटफॉर्म्स में इस तरह की चीज़ें की गई जो कि बायोमेट्रिक वेरीफाइड आइडेंटिफिकल है, वो दैट कैन ऑल्सो बी प्रिस्क्राइब्ड, एंड दिस विल बी इंश्योर दैट ऑल द एंटिटी अपार्ट फ्रॉम द OTT जो कि ओवर द टॉप प्लेटफॉर्म्स है, OTT के अलावे इस तरह के मैसेजिंग एप्स पे भी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट ने काफ़ी ज़्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट रूल बनाने के बाद किए. नो पार्ट ऑफ द फेक मैसेजेस or something which is in downline with the national security will not be allowed, and if it is part, the platform will have to bear the penalty coming out of it. So this is how the entire rule goes on. I have already made a discussion about the telecommunications bill. You can check out in this playlist section of this video. Now moving to the answers and discussion of the yesterday questions. जो कल के सवाल हैं उसके पहले सवाल का क्वेश्चन नंबर ए का जो करेक्ट ऑप्शन है वो फर्स्ट का ए है. इसमें ऑप्शन ए करेक्ट है, ऑप्शन 2 इज नॉट करेक्ट एंड ऑप्शन 3 इज नॉट करेक्ट. डू चेक आउट व्हाट यू हैव मार्क्ड एज करेक्ट ऑप्शन. The second question for the day, here the correct option is B, only statement 2 is correct. Do check what you have marked as a correct option. The MCQs question for the day. The first question is about the Asian Development Bank. आपको बताना है the members are from Asia and Pacific. It does not fund project with regards to the private sector. The vote is proportional to the capital subscription of its member. So this type of contemporary question is again important for the examination. क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 लिखना है आपको कमेंट सेक्शन में, उसके बाद आपके जो करेक्ट ऑप्शंस हैं वो हमें कमेंट सेक्शन में लिख करके ज़रूर बताएं. डू पार्टिसिपेट, राइट योर आंसर इन द कमेंट सेक्शन डाउन बिलो. Second question of the day is about the one station one product scheme. It is a Ministry of Railway initiative. It provide locally developed sales outlet of indigenous product. So same method to participate. Question number 2 followed by your correct options which you feel is correct, and you can drop your drop your answers in the comment section down below. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, queries about test series, admissions, programs, new admissions, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying connected.